Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop today. Today we're going to be talking about our Yamaha. This is a Yamaha Banshee swap Husqvarna Supermoto. And for those of you who've been watching the channel, you guys have been kind of tracking the progression from where it started to where it's at now. But I'm really happy with the way that it's kind of turned out, and I think it's kind of where it's going to be for a while. So let's get into what it looked like, things that we did, all the modifications done to it, and what our future plans are for it. So whoever initially put this bike together put a lot of time and effort into the fabrication. It was actually done really, really well. But it's like they completed the rough draft, but didn't finish the final draft and left a lot of stuff just kind of haphazardly put together and really unfinished. And that's kind of what I did, was take it over and finish it up. So let's look in more detail on some of the things that we did. So we do have a complete list of stuff that we did to this bike here. We needed to detail it, clean it. We needed to fix all the wiring. We did all of that stuff. We stripped all the old harness off. There's videos on all of this on the channel. Headlight, tail light, levers, kill switch, you name it. So there's a list a mile long of stuff that we did. So let's look at some of this stuff in detail on the bike. We will fire it up. 70 degrees. This thing is stone cold. So we'll fire it up cold and see what it sounds like. All right, this does have dual petcocks on it. So I need to turn that fuel on. It's about 65 degrees out today. We'll just choke it. This bike hasn't been fired up in probably 3 weeks, I would say. So let's see how long it takes to fire it up. Go for it. So one of the coolest things about this bike, I think, that we did was the electrical system in here was an absolute disaster. It was a complete nightmare. So we did install a Tusk Enduro lighting kit. The Banshees did not come with a battery. They did only come with the stator enough to power a headlight and a tail light. But I wanted a standalone system to power all the electrical stuff. So what we did was we hooked it up to run off of Milwaukee drill batteries. So this entire electrical system there is powered by Milwaukee drill batteries. And I think that is something that is pretty darn cool. And I have a bunch of Milwaukee drills around here. So, you know, if I need to swap it out, I just pop the battery out, put a new one in, and we're ready to go. And we completely redid the wiring. This is the Tusk Enduro lighting kit mixed with some of the factory harness, and I did go through and label every single thing. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the wiring. It was an absolute nightmare how it was originally, and I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. So it does have a black fully LED headlight, and that is all running off that Milwaukee. You can use that even if the power is not on the bike. We added tusk hand guards as well as integrated signals. Those are all functional. I'll show you that. We did do a UFO complete plastics kit. So front fender, all of the side facings, all of these panels, everything is brand new from UFO, 100%. Rear fender with the integrated, these are from the Tusk Enduro lighting kit. I mounted those to the UFO rear fender. I think it looked really slick. Functioning tail and brake lights, all of that stuff works. Of course, you can't forget, have our Rip It modification there. These pipes, these were all polished by myself. This is a full Toomey T6 racing pipes that have been flipped and kind of welded to work. And here's the view from the rear. That thing looks absolutely crazy with those big pipes here coming up into the duals. It does have Continental Conti Attack tires, which are some super sticky Supermoto tires. This is a 180 rear, which is huge for a Supermoto. My DRZ has a 140 OEM, so this is a huge tire. Actually, it's probably a little bit too big. As you can see, the profile isn't quite right. So I think I'll probably end up swapping up to a 150 here in the future. That'll probably get some better use out of that. Just have KKE blue anodized aluminum wheels. Check this out, DRZ. It's a 240 millimeter rear rotor. It's got the KKE gold hubs as well. Renthal gold chain. Really nice chain, but still retains all the Husqvarna factory guards and all of that stuff. It does have Lectron carburetors. So it's got twin Lectrons. These are 36 millimeter carbs. And we have tuned those. We synced both the slides and adjust the metering rods. I think we've got it about dialed in now. It does have twin petcocks. You have one here and one on the other side that feed a common fuel rail that supplies fuel to both of them. So that way if one side of the tank has a little bit more fuel in it than others, they both still get fed equally. Let's see, we added a different shift lever because that other one was literally all the way out here. Super awkward angle to get your foot in there. Every nut and bolt and fastener on this bike, on the engine at least, it had a full engine hardware kit. So that is all brand new, torque to factory spec. Did upgrade all new silicone hoses, heat wrapped the exhaust pipes because it was actually melting the original hose. Stripped all of the yellow graphics off. These are factory. Just peeled the yellow graphics off of those. It's got stainless brake lines, front and rear. It does have, all this hardware is brand new. Everywhere, all throughout the bike, anywhere I could replace a fastener, I did. It's got Brembo twin piston calipers up front, and it has Brembos in the rear as well. See the wire there for the Trail Tech Speedo. We do have a Trail Tech speedometer, and I'll show you that. But this thing has really been gone through. This is actually a case cover off a Yamaha XS 650. The original Banshees had 3 bolts. I think they had like 1, 2, 3, something like that. So that's something else we did. We fixed up the brake and shift levers. They were an absolute mess. Once again, replacing all of the hardware that we could. Everywhere it has new hardware. Every nut and bolt on this thing that I could replace. We did all the triple clamps, everything. Brembo master cylinder, front, rear. It's got Pro Taper contours, CR high-rise bars. Once again, the lighting is standalone, so you can kick your headlights on. It's got high and low beam. All of your signals and everything work. Front and rear. It's all wired in, works really nicely. All of the brake switches work, front and rear. Beep, beep works. Trail Tech Speedo. We've put 21 miles on it since we bought it. So in a couple months, we've only ridden it 21 miles, and that was mainly just testing. But everything on it works. Obviously, except for the electric start. This bad boy is kick start only. Full fluid swap. It's running Maxima K2 premix. Changed the actual transmission oil in here as well with some Yamaha 1040 or 1030, I believe. Maxima coolant. The whole system has been completely purged when we swapped our radiator hoses, so that's all fresh and brand new. That is a Oxito LED H4 LED headlight bulb, and that sucker is super bright. It's a shot of your signals, and you can see here in the rear, pretty sleek. And that rear brake light does work. New front and rear brake switch. So brand new brake switches here were installed, but everything works on it beautifully. So this bike is fully street legal. It started life as a Husqvarna, a 2012 Husqvarna TE 250. And they actually swapped in, I believe this whole cradle and everything is from a Yamaha Banshee. So that was all cut, welded in, done really nice. It looks like it came this way from the factory. This is not a hodgepodge chopped together job. This is actually done pretty darn slick. But yeah, so now it's the Yamaha. It has brand new NGK iridium plugs. It has V-Force carbon fiber reed setup. This thing hauls the mail. It is absolutely pretty crazy to ride. Much different power delivery than DRZ 400 Supermoto. When this thing kicks on, it really kicks on. All right, well, you guys are gonna have to let me know what you think about our Yamaha here. I think it turned out pretty good. For a lot of people, I think this thing is a dream machine. For me, it absolutely is. It's one of those wicked, wild creations you hear about, but never really see. And this is one of the only ones I've ever seen like it in the world, really. There's been some other ones made out of, I don't know, some dirt bikes, some KX250s. Vasily builds it a swapped Grom. That thing was pretty crazy. I have seen some Supermotos made out of some YZ 450s, I believe. But yeah, never a Husqvarna. So if you guys have any questions about this machine, stick around on the channel. There's gonna be a lot more riding it. We are getting into warmer weather. We are nearing summertime here, so I'm sure we're gonna have lots of adventures on this thing. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can hit me up at ScottLink_L5P on Instagram. As always, I appreciate everybody for watching. Until next time, thank you. Take care.